Have you ever wondered how some teams manage to tackle these incredibly complex challenges, but also, move super fast, delivering really amazing products?
hmm It often seems almost magical from the outside.
Right. Well, often they rely on this framework that's almost like synonymous with agile development, Scrum.
Ah, yes, Scrum.
Today, we're not just going to define it. We're really diving deep into the thinking behind its simplicity, its structure, the key players, the tools, the rhythms.
It's about giving you, the listener, the insights to really get how these high-performing teams generate value using adaptive solutions, way beyond a textbook definition.
Exactly. And we want to make sure we're giving you the clearest picture possible.
Right. So for this deep dive, we're drawing directly from, well, the foundational Scrum Guide itself, and also getting insights from industry leaders like Atlassian.
Okay, so let's peel back the layers. At its heart, Scrum isn't just project management. It's this lightweight but really powerful framework.
And it's rooted deeply in empiricism and lean thinking.
Empiricism meaning learning from experience, right?
Exactly. Decisions based on real, observed experience, not guesswork. And it breaks work down into these short cycles, fixed length, called sprints, usually 1 to 4 weeks.
And the lean thinking part?
That's about stripping away waste, focusing on delivering maximum value with minimum fuss, continually learning. It really embodies those core agile values, like prioritizing working software and, constant customer collaboration.
So it's about quickly learning what works, adapting, and getting something usable out there.
Spot on.
And the Scrum team itself, it's designed for efficiency. Small group, typically.
Yeah, usually 3 to 10 people. Small, tightly knit. And the real magic is that they're cross-functional.
Meaning they have all the skills needed right there on the team.
Precisely. All the diverse skills to take an idea from concept to, well, completion, without needing to constantly wait for outside help. They operate with a single focus.
One product goal, one product backlog. And the sprint, like you said, is the heartbeat, that fixed time box, that rhythm, where the team produces a potentially shippable product increment.
Okay. And the events and artifacts? They provide the transparency.
Exactly. They create the feedback loops, allow the team to constantly inspect progress and adapt their plan. Keeps them on course.
Okay, so with that framework laid out, let's get into the people. Who are the key players? What makes each role so critical?
Let's start with arguably the most pivotal one, the product owner, or PO.
A PO, right. Their main job is maximizing value.
Singularly accountable for maximizing the value of the product that the developers build. But it's way more than just managing a list.
How so?
They're the crucial bridge. They often have to consolidate all these sometimes conflicting desires from stakeholders, sales, marketing, customers, execs,
Why, yeah.
and turn that into one single clear direction for the team. Their superpower, honestly. It's often the courage to say no.
So you're saying no to good ideas? To good ideas. Yeah, to keep that laser focus on the best ideas, making sure every sprint builds the right thing, not just busy work.
That sounds like a huge weight. Synthesizing all those voices? What if there are really deep conflicts, say, between sales needing a feature now and engineering needing to fix tech debt?
Yeah, it's where their deep understanding of the market of the product goal comes in. They have to make the call based on value.
So maybe like in a B2B SaaS company.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A PO there might be constantly talking to sales about enterprise feature requests, but also dealing with support about critical bugs or maybe compliance work.
And Scrum insists it has to be one person.
Explicitly, the Scrum Guide says the PO is one person, not a committee. It prevents ambiguity, ensures the developers get one clear, decisive signal on priorities.
That clarity seems absolutely vital. Okay, next up, the Scrum Master. I kind of think of them as the process guardian, the team's enabler.
That's a really good way to put it. Spot on description. The Scrum Master facilitates, ensures Scrum is understood and applied correctly. Not just by the team, but sometimes across the wider organization, too.
So they don't manage the people.
No, not at all. They help the team improve its own practices, they remove impediments, anything blocking progress, and generally help optimize the team's workflow.
So they're not telling people what to do, but helping the team work better within Scrum. I've heard sometimes this role gets misunderstood, though, right? Like, becomes more of a project manager.
That's a super common misconception, yeah. A true Scrum Master is a servant leader.
Servant leader, meaning?
Meaning they lead by helping, by enabling. They're often leading and time-boxing the planning sessions, the retrospectives, making sure all the Scrum events run smoothly.
And protecting the team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They act as a shield, protecting the developers from external distractions. from scope creep. Maybe they'll train the team on better estimation, or they'll go tackle a technical blocker by talking directly with management.
So the ultimate goal isn't just fixing problems.
No, it's cultivating a truly self-organizing, high-performing team, enabling them to reach their potential.
Okay. And then we get to the engine room, right? The people actually building the product, the development team, or just developers.
The developers, yeah, they're the heart of the Scrum team, this multidisciplinary engine turning backlog items into real, tangible increments.
And that cross-functional skill set you mentioned earlier, that's key here.
Absolutely. They've got everything. Ideally, front end, back end, QA, UX, whatever's needed. It means they can autonomously pull work through the system.
So less waiting around for specialists outside the team.
Exactly. It's about end-to-end ownership within the team.
And they self-organize. They decide how to get the work done.
Does that ever lead to chaos if they're not managed traditionally?
That's a critical question. And the typical size, maybe 5 to 9 people, really helps foster that tight collaboration.
So they work closely together, very closely. While one person might be coding and another testing, they share collective accountability for hitting that sprint goal. There are no sub-teams, no special titles within the developers.
Just one cohesive unit.
One unit, helping each other, pairing up, maybe cross-training to avoid bottlenecks. The Scrum Master helps guide them on how to optimize their process, but the decisions on how to do the actual work, that stays with the developers.
It requires a lot of trust, I imagine.
Trust and transparency, yeah. But when it works, it unleashes incredible creativity and efficiency.
Okay, so you've got this focused, self-organizing team, clear goal. But how do they make all that work visible, transparent, manageable? How does everyone know what's happening?
That's where Scrum's crucial tools come in, the artifacts. They're not just documents, they are the heartbeat of transparency.
Let's start with the big one, the product backlog, the master plan.
Pretty much. It's this dynamic, prioritized list of everything needed for the product, ever. And the product owner is the sole person responsible for maintaining it.
Everything. Features, bugs, tech debt.
Yep. New features, enhancements, bug fixes, technical debt reduction, compliance tasks, you name it. And the item's right at the top. Always the highest value, the most refined, the most ready to go.
And it's not static, right? You don't just create once.
Not at all. It's emergent. It's alive. As the market shifts or customer needs change or you learn something new, the PO is constantly updating and reordering it.
So for that SaaS product example.
Right. You might see items like allow enterprise customers to enable single sign-on or maybe improve page load time for the analytics dashboard. It evolves through this ongoing activity called backlog refinement.
Refinement. What's that involve?
It's where the team collaboratively clarifies requirements, adds estimates, breaks down those big, vague items into smaller, clearer pieces, making sure they're ready for future sprints.
Okay, so from that big evolving master plan, you distill it down for the current sprint. That's the sprint backlog.
Exactly. The sprint backlog is the subset of product backlog items the team commits to delivering in the current sprint, plus the detailed plan, the tasks they'll do to deliver them.
And crucially, it includes the sprint goal.
Yes. The sprint goal is so important. It's that short, overarching statement explaining the purpose, the why, for this specific sprint. It provides focus.
So it's not just a list of tasks, it's the strategic intent behind them, like a North Star for the sprint.
Precisely. The team creates this together in sprint planning. They select items from the product backlog, then break them down into tasks.
And it's a living plan.
Absolutely. The developers update it daily as they learn more. While the tasks might change, the sprint goal itself stays fixed for the duration of the sprint. Provides stability.
Can you give an example?
Sure. A SaaS team's sprint goal might be enhance user security through multi-factor authentication. The sprint backlog would then include items like add multi-factor authentication support and maybe fix login performance bug, along with all the associated design, coding, testing tasks.
And it's usually visible, like on a board.
Yeah, often on a task board, physical or digital. That transparency helps the team see progress daily, spot bottlenecks right away.
And finally, the outcome, the tangible result. The increment.
The increment, yes. It's the sum of all the done product backlog items completed during the sprint, all integrated into a coherent working product.
Keyword there being done.
Absolutely. It must be usable and meet the team's agreed upon definition of done.
What does that definition of done usually look like? Is it just a checklist?
It's the team's shared understanding of quality. Think of it like a chef's final check before a dish goes out. Is it plated right? Garnished. meets the standard.
Okay, so for software?
It might say all new code needs automated tests, needs to pass a peer code review, may be deployed to a staging environment, or even production. It ensures quality is baked in.
So every sprint adds to the existing product, continuous improvement.
Exactly. Not just a pile of half-finished features. And only work that fully meets that definition of done counts. Then the product owner decides, usually after the sprint review, whether to release that usable increment.
Right. So we have the team, the tools for transparency. Now let's talk about how they actually work together. The rhythm, the events or ceremonies. These seem like the feedback loops driving everything.
They really are. They provide the cadence for inspection and adaptation.
First up, sprint planning, kicking things off.
Yep, happens right at the start of each sprint. Its time box may be 40 hours for a month sprint, shorter for shorter sprints. The whole Scrum team collaborates.
What happens in the meeting?
The product owner presents the highest priority stuff from the backlog, explains the overall product goal. Then, working together, the team crafts a specific sprint goal for this sprint. What value are we delivering now?
And then the developers figure out what they can actually do.
Exactly. They select the product backlog items they believe they can complete towards that sprint goal, and then they plan how to build them, breaking them down into smaller tasks.
And the outcome is?
A clear commitment. The sprint goal is articulated, and the selected items form the initial sprint backlog.
Any tips for making this effective?
A vital tip for you listening. Effective planning always respects the team's proven capacity, their historical velocity, and focuses on delivering genuine value, not just, stuffing the sprint full of tasks. It's about sustainable pace.
Makes sense. Okay, sprint's underway, then comes the daily scrum, the daily huddle, super quick.
Incredibly quick, strictly 15 minutes, every working day. Its only purpose is for the developers to inspect progress toward the sprint goal and adapt their plan for the next 24 hours.
So it forces that peer-to-peer alignment, team ownership.
Exactly. It's their plan, not just reporting status up the chain. They usually cover, what did I do yesterday for the goal? What will I do today? Any blockers?
Now, I've heard these can go off the rails, become problem-solving sessions, or just status reports for managers hanging around.
Yeah.
Any advice?
That's a classic pitfall. The key is brevity. Don't solve blockers in the meeting. Note them, identify who needs to be involved, and then those people tackle it immediately after.
Keep it focused, keep it 15 minutes.
Precisely. Let everyone get back to work.
Okay, end of the sprint, time for the sprint review, inspecting the outcome.
This is where that empiricism really comes alive. It's a meeting with stakeholders, could be customers, internal folks, whoever cares about the product, usually 2 to 4 hours for a month sprint.
And the team demos the work.
The developers demo the done items, show what's new. The whole team discusses what got accomplished, maybe what didn't, and any market changes or new learnings.
And stakeholders give feedback.
Critically, yes, they provide direct feedback, and that feedback directly influences the product backlog for future sprints, maybe reprioritizing things.
And this is where the PO might decide to release.
Exactly. The advice here is make it interactive, a real working session, not just a dry presentation. Get that valuable feedback efficiently. It avoids building stuff nobody wants, pure lean thinking.
Got it. And the final event, the wrap-up, the sprint retrospective, the learning session, this feels like the soul of continuous improvement.
It absolutely is. This is where the entire Scrum team, PO, Scrum Master, developers, pauses. They inspect their own process, their tools, their relationships.
How do they do that? What do they ask?
They ask candidly, what went well this sprint? What problems did we hit? How can we improve our way of working next time? It has to be constructive, though. Focus on the process, not blaming people.
And the goal is actionable improvements.
Precisely. They'll usually identify one or maybe a few key improvements and commit to implementing them. Sometimes they even add an improvement action right into the next sprint backlog.
So the team gets better every sprint.
That's the idea, continuous learning. And a huge pitfall we see is teams skipping retrospectives. It's often disastrous.
Oh, a disaster.
Because without them, they miss that crucial learning loop. They just keep repeating the same mistakes, the same frustrations, sprint after sprint. The process stagnates.
Right. Okay, one more thing before we move on. It's not a formal event, but you mentioned backlog refinement earlier. Seems important.
It really is.
Yeah.
While not one of the 5 formal events, many teams find ongoing refinement essential. They hold regular sessions, maybe once or twice a sprint.
And what happens there?
The PO and developers look at upcoming product backlog items. They clarify requirements, add details, maybe break down big user stories into smaller ones, add estimates.
Yeah.
It ensures items are truly ready when sprint planning arrives. Much smoother planning.
Okay, so we've got the framework, the roles, the artifacts, the events. Let's talk about making Scrum really thrive. What are some best practices you, our listener, can use? And what are the common pitfalls to dodge?
Right. Best practices, always, always focus on value and transparency. Keep those product backlog items small, user-focused, the as a user I want format helps.
Clear acceptance criteria, too.
Absolutely. And rigorously use your definition of done. That maintains quality. Like ensuring maybe all new code must have automated tests and passcode review before it's considered done.
And managing the sprint itself.
Developers should update that sprint backlog daily. Make progress visible, maybe on a task board, and protect the team's time. Interruptions during a sprint are focus killers.
What about involving stakeholders?
Involve customers or key stakeholders early, especially in sprint reviews. Demoing to a real user can give you incredibly valuable feedback fast.
And you mentioned adapting Scrum itself.
Yeah, that's crucial. Treat the process itself as inspectable. The team, guided by the Scrum Master, should regularly ask, is this meeting helping? Is this practice working for us? And adapt it. Don't just follow rules blindly if they aren't serving you.
Okay, great advice. Now, the flip side, the pitfalls.
Kev.
Where do teams often go wrong?
Oh, there are a few common ones. Letting events become status meetings is huge. The daily Scrum isn't for reporting to a manager, it's for the team to sync. The sprint review isn't a one-way demo, it's for collaboration.
And trying to solve problems in the daily Scrum.
Yeah, we talked about that. Keep it brief, note the blockers, solve them after, respect the time box, another big one, overcommitment.
Taking on too much.
Exactly. Teams feel pressure, step too much into the sprint, then miss the goal, get demoralized. Use your path velocity as a realistic guide. Undercommit and overdeliver is always better.
What about role confusion?
That could be messy. If the PO isn't empowered, or if multiple people try to direct the team, priorities get muddled. The PO has to be a final decider on scope. And if Scrum Master isn't actively facilitating and removing blockers, things can grind to a halt.
Then skipping events.
Never skip events, especially reviews and retrospectives. You lose that vital feedback, that chance to learn and improve. Teams just repeat mistakes.
Any other major ones?
Yeah, one final one. Avoiding incremental delivery. Resisting releasing anything until some imaginary big bang launch. Scrum's power comes from delivering a usable increment each sprint, even if it's just a staging or beta users. Get it out there. Get feedback.
Okay, this all sounds great for one team, but what happens when things get bigger? Multiple Scrum teams working on the same product. I can already hear people thinking about integration nightmares. How does Scrum scale?
Scaling. Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting, and it's a challenge lots of organizations face. The absolute key principle, though, even with many teams, there should still be one product backlog per product.
One master list for everyone.
One source of truth. All teams pull work from that single backlog, managed by the product owner, or perhaps a chief PO. Each team still has its own sprint backlog and runs its own events, mostly.
So how do they coordinate? Avoid stepping on each other's toes.
Well, a common practice is something called the Scrum of Scrums.
Scrum of Scrums.
Yeah, it's basically a coordination meeting. Representatives from each Scrum team get together regularly, maybe daily, maybe a few times a week.
What do they discuss?
Progress, dependencies between teams, and any blockers that are impacting more than one team. It's about creating that transparent web of communication across the teams.
I've heard of more formal frameworks too, like Nexus or Less. Do they build on this?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Frameworks like Nexus, Less, Large Scale, Scrum, Safe, they provide more structure for these coordination practices.
How so? Like shared events?
Yeah, often, yes. You might have a shared planning event where all teams identify dependencies up front, or maybe one combined sprint review for the whole product, where all teams demo their integrated work together.
And retrospectives.
You might do them at 2 levels. Each team has its own retro, but then there's also a cross-team retrospective to tackle issues affecting overall integration and collaboration.
And I bet that definition of done becomes even more critical then.
Absolutely essential. All teams need a shared, common definition of done to ensure their individual pieces integrate smoothly into one cohesive, potentially shippable product at the end of each sprint.
Continuous integration must be huge too.
Incredibly important. Automated builds, comprehensive testing. You need that technical foundation to make integration work smoothly with multiple teams delivering frequently.
So the goal is to keep the core principles.
Exactly. Keep transparency, inspection, adaptation. Don't overcomplicate it unless you absolutely have to. Use practices like Scrum of Scrums and shared events just enough to manage the dependencies effectively. Keep that agility.
So wrapping this up for you, our listener, we've taken quite the deep dive into Scrum today. We've seen how this framework, which seems simple on the surface, provides a structured yet really adaptable way to tackle complex work.
hmm It's all built on that foundation of transparency, collaboration, and crucially, continuous improvement.
And hopefully understanding these interconnected pieces, the roles, the artifacts, the events, how they interact, gives you a much more informed perspective on how modern product development actually happens.
Yeah, how these high-performing teams really manage to generate immense value, often navigating a lot of uncertainty along the way.
And to leave you with a final thought, something provocative from our source material. You should be just as agile with your framework as you are with your product.
Oh, that's a good one.
Think about that. Where else in your life or your work could applying a bit more of that agile thinking, that idea of constantly inspecting how you do things and adapting, bring some surprising improvements? Not just to what you create, but to how you create it every single day.
If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and share it, with others who might benefit too. To learn more about product management and digital marketing, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.